WSMV 4 News. Today starts now with this breaking news alert.
Now at 4, a child shot and killed overnight, and that's just one of 2 new shooting investigations you're waking up to this morning. What we're learning about the search for the suspects. Plus, devastation in Florida as Hurricane Ian, now Tropical Storm Ian, continues barreling across the state. A look at the damage and how people in Tennessee are helping residents. And this morning, several families are displaced following an apartment fire. What investigators say sparked the flames that forced them out of their homes. Good morning and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Ryan Breslin. We begin with a check of the forecast with First Alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro. Stefano, I know you want to talk about today's weather right here in Tennessee, but you were just mentioning that Hurricane Ian is now a tropical storm.
Yes, it has officially dropped down to a tropical storm, meaning it's weakening, but still the big thing about Ian, and we'll talk about this later on, is just going to be the heavier rainfall that it's going to continue to bring to Florida and eventually the Carolinas. And I'll let you know if we have any impacts here in the mid-state later on. But let's talk about your forecast for today. It's still a chilly start. You'll have to grab that jacket once again. Make sure the kids have it going to the bus stop. Many of us will drop to the 40s over the next couple of hours, but a little bit better of an afternoon. Yesterday, many of us stayed in the 60s. That's really not going to be the case today. Mostly lower and even the mid-70s. But here's those temperatures if you're currently stepping out the door or getting ready to in the next couple of minutes. 52 in Nashville, Bellevue at 51. We're at 50 in Gallatin, Hunters Point 49, and Mount Juliet right at 51. So it's a mix of 50s and 40s this morning. A little bit warmer than the last couple of starts in some spots. Dixon, we're at 49, Camden 51. Good morning in Lewisburg at 48, and Murfreesboro right at 49. Wind speed not all that bad, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Should be a little bit of a breezy day once again. First Alert live radar looking good, staying dry. We'll have good sunshine this afternoon. And Ryan, when I come back, we'll talk about trying to get back near 80 by next week.
All right, thank you very much, Stefano. Well, breaking overnight, Metro Police launched 2 new shooting investigations while you were sleeping. A child was killed just before midnight. The shooting happened at the Stone Ridge Apartments on Piccadilly Row. 2 other juveniles were also shot. They are being treated at a hospital this morning. Police say the 3 boys were trying to drive away from a shootout, but crashed into several cars. Right now, there's no word on possible suspects. Also breaking overnight, a man is in the hospital after a shooting outside of a Burger King. It happened just after 11 last night at the restaurant on Old Hickory Boulevard. Police say someone shot the man in the parking lot and then left. The victim collapsed after running into the nearby Exxon gas station for help. There's no word on who police believe shot that man. Right now, several people are without a home after an apartment fire in Clarksville. Crews were called to the complex on Verkler Drive just before 8 last night. They say one tenant turned the stove on and then left the apartment. 8 apartments were evacuated last night. The Red Cross was called in to help those families that were evacuated. Well, now we're taking a live look as Hurricane Ian, now Tropical Storm Ian, is left after it slammed into Orlando last night. Here's a live look at the rain hammering down right now in Winter Park. That's not too far from Orlando. The hurricane hit the southwest coastline yesterday, packing 155 mile-per-hour winds. That's just shy of a Category 5 storm. As Chris Pallone reports, the dangerous storm made it largely impossible for authorities to begin to assess that damage from this massive storm.
When Ian arrived in southwest Florida, it came with a vengeance.
Oh my gosh.
The hardest hit areas all located close to Cayo Costa, where the eye made landfall Wednesday afternoon. Its intensity and duration has initially prevented a full accounting of what's been lost.
We don't even know exactly what we faced just yet. We know we've been hit very hard.
Ian roared ashore, packing 155 mile-per-hour winds, just shy of a Category 5. But it was the storm surge in places like Naples and Fort Myers that did so much of the damage, leaving entire neighborhoods underwater and cars bobbing down the street. In Naples, firefighters scrambled to salvage their gear when their fire station flooded. Ian even spawned tornadoes as it approached.
All of a sudden, I felt something and then heard like a train coming right through the house.
The storm's fierce winds even pushed the waters of Tampa Bay out into the Gulf of Mexico, exposing the bed below. Now, as people in other parts of Florida and the Southeast prepare for Ian's arrival, the state's governor tries to put it all in perspective.
At a minimum, it's going to be a very strong Category 4 that's going to rank as one of the top 5 hurricanes to ever hit the Florida Peninsula.
And it's not done yet. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Tampa.
And we continue our coverage of what the storm with what an Orlando woman is dealing with this morning. She left Tampa for her hometown in hopes of staying safe from Hurricane Ian. Our Danielle Jackson has her story.
I'm feeling calm, but very cautious.
Madison McGrew is more than familiar with hurricanes as an Orlando native, but she says it's been a while since they've had to brace for a hurricane this big.
I'm with a company that is stationed in Tampa. I'm an actor, so that company is a Creative Studios, and they've had to evacuate everyone from the Creative Studios in Tampa inland to Orlando.
She's in a hotel in Orlando. The hotel has even set up a makeshift space for the actors to continue rehearsals. So far, it's been the calm before the storm.
There's been pretty big wind gusts, but it's only been up to like 30 to 40 miles per hour. Nothing too catastrophic at this point, but we know that a lot of the big winds are going to hit later. So we're just kind of keeping an eye out. Lots of palm trees waving in the wind.
But there's a sense of uncertainty for her and others who are worried about what home back in Tampa will look like after the hurricane passes.
I think we're all a little bit worried about the flooding, and if we prepared adequately back at home, like what happens if we actually can't return to normal when we get back to the coast.
Having all of the necessary essentials is key. Madison shared this picture of an empty shelf inside of a local grocery store. Now, she says they'll just brace for the unknown.
It's been interesting to actually not have been through a really severe hurricane season in quite a few years. So there's a level of uncertainty, but there's absolutely a level of camaraderie in this as well.
And that was our Danielle Jackson reporting. Orlando's mayor has issued a shelter-in-place warning to people living there. Well, right now, some Middle Tennesseans with the Red Cross are helping out residents in Orlando. Coming up in our next half hour, more on their mission and how you at home may be able to help them. Also, more hotspots are now available to help storm victims stay connected. Telecommunications giant Comcast says it's opened upwards of 200,000 Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. The public hotspots are available for free to everyone, including non-Xfinity customers. And don't forget, you can keep track of Hurricane Ian, now Tropical Storm Ian, on our First Alert weather app. Just search WSMV4 weather in your app store, and you can download it right there for free. New this morning, Clarksville police say you can expect to see more officers on the roads, all in an effort to make sure you're being safe while driving. Officers say to buckle up and be certain that your children are in the appropriate safety seat or booster seat. Between January and August, police say there were nearly 50 crashes involving people who were not wearing seatbelts. That was in Clarksville. 71 people were hurt and 6 died in those incidents. And yesterday, we told you about a warning from Metro Police. They are also urging you to think about safety as you head out the door to work this morning. Officers say as of September 27th, nearly 110 people have died in crashes in Nashville. And that's just this year. Over to you, Stefano.
And good morning, everyone. Another nice chill to the air as we're stepping outside. Yesterday, many of us did not get out of the 60s, but today, we'll have a better shot to at least get back in the 70s. Still definitely that fall-like feel hanging with us, and hey, plenty of sunshine again today. Just like yesterday, it will be just a little bit of a breezy afternoon. When I come back in a couple of minutes, I'll talk about if any remnants from Ian try to get into the mid-state, and we'll also talk about trying to get back near 80 by next week.
Okay, thank you very much. And we, of course, have more headlines from around the country, including what we know about the death of iconic rapper Coolio. Also, 2 school shootings on opposite sides of the United States. What police are saying this morning about both of those investigations. Now we're taking a look at your traffic flow map this morning. You can see that there are no issues currently on the road. So we're going to take a look at those drive times for you this morning. Franklin to downtown, just 22 minutes. Murfreesboro will take you 24 minutes right now, 16 minutes if you're coming in from Bellevue, and 23 minutes in from Gallatin. WSMV4 News Today will be right back. Welcome back to WSMV 4 News Today, 4:12 on your Thursday morning. Let's help you get ready and get out the door. Stefano, tell us a little bit about what people can expect as they head out the door this morning for their morning drive.
It is another chilly start, maybe not quite as cold as it was the last couple of mornings in some areas. There are some spots waking up in the 50s right now compared to the 40s of yesterday morning and the morning just before that as well. No big weather problems for the morning commute, so if you're getting your day started early over the next couple of hours, we're not running into any weather issues as far as the roadways are concerned, but you still may want the seat heaters on this morning. That wind will be out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so even just a little bit of a breeze this morning can give you just a little bit more of a chill. Then on the tail end of today, as you're coming home from work, whether it's this afternoon or this evening, there will be plenty of sunshine and a little bit on the warmer side today, but still below the average, which comes in right around 80. We're going to stay in the 70s again going into this afternoon. So let's go into Futurecast, and I do think everybody eventually drops into the 40s by around 6, 7 o'clock this morning. As we go through the afternoon, we'll stay in the 60s by our lunch hour. 68 Nashville, Clarksville at 67, Livingston 64, McMinnville 67, and Lawrenceburg at 67 as well. But the good news is, just like the last couple of days, there's plenty of sunshine to talk about. So we'll have that going for us all day today. 75 will be our high in Nashville, 72 in Gallatin, Clarksville 72, Waverly at 71, Parsons at 73. If there are going to be spots that stay in the 60s today, it will be east of I-65, mostly in those higher elevations of the Cumberland Plateau. Any afternoon or early morning errands that you have to run, we're not running into any big weather problems. And that's the important thing today. I hope you've been enjoying the fall feel with October right around the corner, maybe trying to get some of those Halloween decorations up a little bit early. This is the time to do it as it's staying nice and comfortable stepping out the door. We go through tonight, temperatures will drop into the 50s and 40s by tomorrow morning, so still chilly, but making a little progress for the early stages of the day. Tomorrow afternoon does look a little bit warmer, mid to the upper 70s, areas along and west of I-65 looks like more around the lower 70s as we go east of I-65. Then looking ahead to the weekend, we are still tracking the chance for a couple of remnants from what is now Tropical Storm Ian, but that's looking very isolated because the track is pushing more to the east. So we're not ruling out a little pop-up shower, mainly east of I-65 this weekend. It does look like most of the area will stay dry, though, and then there's another warm-up trying to come our way next week, Ryan.
Thank you very much, Stefano. Well, right now, police are investigating a shooting that took place at a high school in Oakland, California on Wednesday. The shooting at a complex that houses multiple schools. Students were evacuated from that complex with parents being instructed to meet their children at a nearby church. Police are investigating the situation this morning. Also this morning, we're getting a look at new surveillance video showing the suspects that police say killed a 14-year-old boy outside of a high school in Philadelphia. 4 other teenagers were hurt in this shooting. As Joe Holden reports, this all happened during a football scrimmage.
What was heard and what was seen outside Roxborough High School Tuesday afternoon, with teenagers running for their lives, chased by other teenagers armed with guns and firing erratically. A nearby camera picked up the 64 shots fired at 5 14 to 17-year-olds. Nicholas Elizalde, a 14-year-old from Havertown, was shot in the chest and died. He was leaving a football scrimmage with teammates. 4 others who were shot will survive. Police say the teen shooters were waiting.
We see things that make us believe that it's a targeted attack. They wait there for 6 minutes for the game to end. A whole bunch of players walk by the car and they waited for a specific group to come, and that's when the attack came.
And brand new information, police say a 17-year-old gunshot victim chased down by one of the shooters on Tuesday had been shot before in the attempted carjacking of an Uber driver. That's according to multiple Philadelphia police sources. The sheer number of bullets fired left detectives a day later pinpointing where as many as 10 shots hit the Roxborough High building.
Motive's going to be unknown, but we do believe that one or two of the individuals within that group were specifically targeted. We don't believe that they were targeted because they were members of the football team. They are obviously very dangerous individuals, and the need is great to have them identified and taken off the streets as quickly as possible.
That was Joe Holden reporting. The 4 injured teens are expected to survive. In addition to the 5 suspects seen on surveillance video, police are also looking for a 6th suspect. Investigators believe they may all be juveniles. Police are offering a $40,000 reward in that case. And sad news we have to get to this morning. Rapper Coolio has died. His manager says the rapper died yesterday afternoon at a friend's home in Los Angeles. Coolio, whose real name was artist Leon Ivy Jr., had a music career that spanned more than 3 decades. He was 59 years old. The cause of his death is not known at this time. Vice President Kamala Harris is overseas at the demilitarized zone today. The area that's known as the DMZ divides North and South Korea. Her visit comes on the heels of North Korea's latest missile launch. The vice president visited troops and their families stationed at the DMZ. She will tour the area and receive an operational briefing from U.S. commanders. Well, now we're taking a look at your drive times once again. Franklin to downtown will take you 22 minutes on I-65 this morning. Murfreesboro on I-24 will be 24 minutes. 15 minutes if you're coming in from Bellevue this morning on I-40, and 24 minutes from Gallatin to downtown Nashville this Thursday morning. Well, stricter rules could soon be coming to those apps that allow you to buy now and then pay later. What federal regulators are looking to do as you continue to purchase items in installments. 4:22 on your Thursday morning. Thanks for waking up with us here on WSMV4 News today. Stefano DiPietro is with us this morning. Stefano, it's a cool start to your morning right now.
I think a lot of people enjoying the fall feel, but maybe the morning's just a little bit on the chilly side for some of us, but that is going to improve over the next couple of days. But as you're waking up this morning, as you're starting off your day, we just have to do the same exact things that we've done over the last couple of days. You'll have that jacket ready this morning. Yesterday afternoon, I'm sure there were plenty of us that were tempted to keep it on during the middle of our day because there were plenty of spots that stayed in the 60s. But this afternoon does look a little bit warmer. We'll get back into the lower and mid 70s for that high today. So it's certainly feeling more like fall as we're stepping outside once again. That is something that I don't think we're going to completely lose anytime soon. At best, we'll be looking at temperatures trying to get back near 80 again, but for a lot of us, that won't even be until next week, Ryan.
All right, thank you very much, Stefano. An auction house is looking to get children interested in collecting. Christie's Auction House announced it is launching a new platform called Christie's 3.0. The online platform will be devoted to the NFT art market. NFTs transform digital works of art and other collectibles into one-of-a-kind verifiable assets. They can be big buys for those into the cryptocurrency universe. Christie's says it is also going after a new generation of collectors with a new department. It will focus on collectors looking to buy rare sneakers, streetwear, and sports collectibles, as well as own iconic pieces of pop culture. Well, news that could impact your wallet now. A new online payment service called Buy Now, Pay Later is gaining both popularity and concerns. The service allows you to pay for items in installments, and now federal regulators are considering stricter rules. Here's Cole Higgins with why a new report has both economists and experts worried.
Buy now, pay later. It's an increasingly popular online payment option, but it's also gaining the attention of federal regulators and raising concerns from some economists.
I think buy now, pay later should be more highly regulated.
The services, which allow you to pay for items in installments, could soon face stricter rules. A recent report from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found the services are financially risky for consumers and should be regulated more like credit card companies. Economist Mark Zandi agrees and says those types of loans are often going to hard-pressed, low-income households.
They're particularly vulnerable and in many cases don't have the same kind of financial understanding that they might need to be able to really evaluate whether this is a good arrangement for them or not.
According to the report, Americans took out more than $24 billion in loans on buy now, pay later programs in 2021. That's up from only $2 billion in 2019. Financial experts warn you could rack up debt you can't afford to pay back because the services encourage you to buy extravagant items that you previously wouldn't be able to buy.
You're shopping online, you want a dress, you need a dress, but oh, you see this jacket, and oh, you see something else. The next thing you know, you spent more because you can pay it over time.
Most buy now, pay later companies charge late fees or start charging interest if you don't make payments on time. And missed payments may lead to them freezing your account, and your debt could be turned over to a debt collector. And sometimes those late payments are reported, which could impact credit score.
If you're not careful, you'll end up having a lot of these buy now, pay later contracts for stuff that you really don't need.
And that was Cole Higgins reporting. Well, coming up, Metro Police are looking for suspects in 2 different shootings. The incidents happened overnight within minutes of each other and just a few miles apart. We're live with a breakdown of what we're learning this morning. Plus, we are also tracking Ian overnight as overnight developments of Tropical Storm Ian continue to impact Florida. We have the latest right after this break.